Hello, as promised, I would bring you a recording of setting up a VM for RPA and going forward, and then setting up the VM completely with the applications needed and configurations for RPA Builder and Recorder. So here we go. We'll get started by creating a virtual machine. Now, I'm using Microsoft Azure. You can use whatever platform you want for this. But in the virtual machines, I'll go ahead and click on the virtual machines. And easy enough, I've got several other servers created here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Create a Virtual Machine. Okay, now it'll go through, and this is kind of like the quick setup for it. The very first time you come through here, if you're using Azure, it will create a resource group for you. It'll ask you, like you could choose create new, and I chose RPA resource group. And the virtual machine name is going to be, I'm going to go with the naming convention, RPA server 8. This is the 8th one. And the region, you can choose the regions. There's various regions here. I'm going to try US West 3, maybe. And then for availability zone on this, I don't need redundancy. Okay, I don't need redundancy here. And let me see if I go to a different zone. If the price, notice the price is showing the price on the right. So US Central, what are your prices? Oh, more. Okay, let's go out west. Let's go west. So that will be the approximate monthly cost. And the zone here, now the zone is going to depend upon, you'll notice down at the very bottom when I'm choosing what I want to use. And for sizing, see all sizes here. Size not available. I have reached some limits on my quota, so I'm having to now go into different pricing on this. Let me go back to where we were, see what I can get away with. So this is the one it's saying I'm pretty much going to be stuck with. This is not available in zone 1, but zone 2 it is supported. So let me go over here to zone 2. So I'm going to unselect this and go to zone 2. And I think I'm okay. So again, coming down the list is choosing your resource group. The very first time you create a server, you have the opportunity to create a new one. I did. This is going in my naming convention. So I've got RPA server 8 for this one, the region, choosing it, availability options. I don't need infrastructure redundancy on that. Okay, so I'm going to change that back. I don't know how that got changed to that. And that is fine for the trusted launch. That's fine. And I'm choosing for this because it's RPA server 2022. And 64, that's good. And there's my size. So that should be okay. I should be good. So now I'm going to do the username and password for the admin account on this one. And let me get my trusty little sheet going over here because I've got a naming convention that I'm doing for the usernames. And this one, I think I'm going to make it RPA Tech. If I could spell. Let me try this again. RPA Tech. And my naming convention should bring me to number 14 on this. So I'm keeping track over here. I don't have special characters. I should be good. Okay. And now what I want to do is I have a password that I'm using also. I won't tell you that. Those of you that are using them know what that is. but I'm going to post this out for anyone who might want to see how to set this up. And by default, it's got the inbound port that's saying, oh, you probably don't want that for to have this port open, but we do need it open for the bot, so that is going to be okay. All right, so I think I'm good to go. Again, it's giving us an estimated monthly cost here, so we'll go ahead and click on review and create. Yeah, see, I was saying you've got your ports open to the internet, and it's okay, but everything else works, so I'm going to click on create. So this will take a few minutes for it to deploy. So I'm going to pause the video for a few minutes while this is deploying. And once it's completed, I will pick it back up on the other side. All right, so pausing the recording. All right, so the deployment completed. That was pretty fast. And what I want to do now is go to the resource itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the resource, and this is taking me to the new server. And what I want to do is go ahead and connect to it. Connect. There you go. This gives us the opportunity to download the RPD or the RDP file. You can also use it, connect using the IP address if you'd like, but I have downloaded these RDP files for a lot of my users, and so I'm going to put these in the shared shared folder for them so that they have access to it. Let me grab this real quick. There you go. So now I've got that shared. It's downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and click it from here. And this is what you get. You get logged in remote desktop connection. I'm going to go ahead and click on connect. And I'm going to put in the password. And go ahead and click on OK. You'll get this certificate warning. So just continue through that. Go ahead and click on yes. And now we're into the server. So it's loading up the server. So I'm going to show you the instructions for RPA setup. And some of them may seem unusual. When I get there, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first one, we'll give it a chance to come all the way up. One of the first things I did do is install Google. Okay. And I don't necessarily need to show you that part. I'm going to show you the things that are relevant to setting this up for RDP. And we won't be using the server manager, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that down. So we don't need that. One of the configurations on any system that you're using is going to be the environment variables. So I'm going to do env. There they are, system environment variables. So going to this. And on here, what we need to do is set the performance. Okay, so in the system properties on the performance, we're going to click on settings. And we want to adjust for best performance. Prior to the last release of some of the course, the hyperautomation course, this was not included, and we did have some interesting things occur. This has really resolved a lot of the problems that we were seeing as far as the performance of the computer. And so anyway, you want to click on adjust for best performance, and we're going to click on apply and OK. And then OK here as well. The next big deal is the group policy. So we're going to edit group policy. I suppose I should just type in group policy. There it is, edit group policy panel. Okay, so that's going to be under the control panel. And I'm going to make this full screen so you can really see everything good here. And what we need to do here is we need to navigate in the administrative templates under the computer configuration. And we'll come down to the Windows components. And then we're going to come all the way down to the RDP, remote desktop services. And then specifically in the remote desktop session host. Okay. Once you're in here, then we're going to click on connections. All right. Now the first one's going to be very obvious. So the first one makes a lot of sense to me. So we're going to go ahead and click on the restrict remote desktop services. Let me slide this over a little bit so you can see that better. Restrict remote desktop services users to a single remote desktop service session. All right, so double click this and it'll open up our configuration window here. And this is not configured. Okay, so it's important to go ahead and click on disabled because we do not want this to occur. What this configuration is only allowing a single remote desktop instance or session. Okay, and if it's not configured, it still has some kind of, there's an override of the other policies associated with it. At any rate, by setting it to disabled, this will allow multiple RDP sessions for the bot. Okay, so you may be working on one RDP session to configure, and what we want to allow is the bot to also RDP. Okay, so we're going to click apply and we're going to click OK. Now the other one is not going to, at first it's going to make a lot of sense, but I'm going to point something out to you. I am not sure that this is making a huge difference because I've tested it. But the next one we want is the limit number of connections. Okay, so let's go ahead and double click on limit number of connections. And this one we do want to enable. And this makes sense because we want to have, you know, at least, I intend to have 2 users on this server. So I want to allow for at least 6 RDP connections. Okay. However, I have tested it and it does not actually work. And when you read in the details here, you'll find out under the note that this setting is designed to be used with RD session host servers running with the remote desktop session host role installed. I think that is why I'm not seeing it play out and allow additional RDP sessions, because I am not using that on these servers. Okay, I am not using this particular, it's an additional app to install. Financially, it's an additional one, and I didn't. All right, so anyway, we'll be able to have at least 2 sessions per server. And so if you're the single person on this, you'll be able to work in the builder in one RDP session and be able to turn around and have your bot work there too. Okay, but if there are multiple people actually logging in, we will have a different strategy for you. So we'll click on apply here and click on OK. And then we're done with this. We can go ahead and close this down. And that's all we needed for the system settings. And that's all we needed. Now, I probably can use Edge for the rest of this, but I will be installing Google Chrome because our bot actually uses Google Chrome for accessing our database. But I probably can get by for right now using Edge. So I'm going to go ahead and use Edge here. So that what I'm doing, I need to go get the software for the RPA. Okay, so I'm going to go log into our account. Let me grab that real quick so I don't have to type all of that. I sure will. Give me 1 second. There it is. I know I've got it here somewhere. Oh, look, it's going. Yeah, but that's not the right place to go. Hold on just a minute. All right, so we're going into this account here. It's a new point platform account. It does have the hyperautomation package, or I should say SKU on this platform account. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'll have to do the credentialing here. So I'm going to pause the recording while I authenticate, but you'll do a normal username and password and authenticate. So I'm going to pause the recording for just a minute. Okay, so I'm logged onto the platform, and this is the hyperautomation SKU, basically, the hyperautomation components, the intelligent document processing, the RPA manager, and composer. And so this VM is being set up for RPA. So we're going to go to RPA manager here. And in RPA manager, we're essentially going to be just downloading the software we need to run the builder and the recorder on this VM. Okay. So download applications is in the upper right here. And we can see you can come to RPA Recorder. We can download the RPA Recorder. So we'll click on download it. And it pops up a window, so you have to click on download once again. Okay, and it's downloading. So we can close that one. We're going to go back in here and we're going to download the RPA Builder. Download. And close. Okay. So that portion is done. Now there's a third download here that is the bot. We'll actually do that when we're ready to deploy the bot to the VM. So that will happen at a later time. So there is one more. So let's go up here at the top and we're going to go ahead and go to the folder, our download folder here. I'm going to minimize that page behind us. And we have the RPA Recorder installer. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to run it as an administrator. You don't have to do that for for both of these, but I choose to. Okay, so we'll run it as an administrator, at least for the recorder. We're going to click on next. Everything here is defaulted. This is where you'll find the download or the actual installation. Program files, MuleSoft, and it's extracting the files. And this doesn't take too long to run. I'm going to go ahead and let it keep going. All right, you'll notice it does finish out with the Visual C plus there also. We'll go ahead and click on finish. So it did install additional software. Let's refresh this screen. The other should be finished now. So RPA Builder is done as well. So recorders here, we see that that got installed. We're going to now do the builder, run as administrator. And this does go out and check to see if our system does have the required software, namely Java. And so in this case, it's asking, do you want to download the Java installation, Java 11? I'm going to say yes. And it'll launch the page for us to be able to get the latest release for Java for the Windows 64. And I like to just use the MSI. I'm going to go ahead and click on the MSI. And of course, if you're on a different system, you can, well, you have to be on a Windows system to be able to use the RPA products. So all of these have to be on a Windows system. So if you're getting Java for other purposes, you can, but for in this case, it needs to be Windows. All right, we'll give that a second or two to finish. We do have a window open. We can refresh this. So we're pretty much done with that window. Okay, and we'll go to the OpenJDK, double click that, and it will just go ahead and install. We'll just go with default settings here, accept, next, install for all users, next, install, and it completes the installation. And now that this is done, click on finish there. And now we can go ahead to the builder. Again, we'll go back to the builder, run as administrator. And now it's going forward with the installation. Okay, and we can see it's also going to program files, MuleSoft. Again, there's some additional Tomcat, RPA Builder. The home directory is setting the home directory. Okay, so everything here is just go, go, go. And this doesn't take too long either. Once it completes, then you've got your RPA recorder and your RPA builder. And then the other videos that are available in our videos on demand will show you how to configure and use them. So the recorder you actually launch from RPA Manager, Anypoint Platform, and the builder you will actually configure when you start it locally. Okay. So at any rate, once this finishes, then we have finished everything that I intended this video to cover. So thanks a lot for being with me on this, and stay tuned for other videos. So we'll give it just a couple more minutes. It's about to be done here. We are good to go. All right, about to finish. There it goes. Extracting. Shortcuts there. Visual C's installing. There we go. All right. So notice it again is installing necessary software that you don't have to worry about. Tomcat server's running, or that service, I should say. There we go. Restart the computer, and I'm going to say yes. So that's it for this recording. Everything's ready now, and you're ready to work. Like I said, you have to be on a Windows system for RPA to work. Thanks so much.